Hello, everyone. I'm Rob Smith of the In the Black VTF here at T3 Live with today's market wrap up. And like I said in the SPY this morning, doing all sorts of nothing. And you can see another doji day, two doji days within the range doing nothing. If you look at the 60-minute chart, you're just going to see this range still. Putting in this series of lower highs would be somewhat of a concern, but because it's so tight, it could easily just pop right up there and take that stuff out. You're also seeing this series of higher lows, so we're just stuck in here in the range, not doing much. If you look at QQQ, still, skirting the highs here and potentially try and take out this momentum hammer, which is a hammer toward the highs. I'll blow that up so you can see it a little easier. Like that. So we want to see if we can take this doji hammer out and try and take out all this stuff in the Qs tomorrow. Apple doing all sorts of nothing. And if you take a look at Apple, the question is, how do we get out of this? And I know a lot of people are looking at it, but you just want to be careful because it's an inside month. So you can see it's been in a range for 5 months. And on the weekly, it's still an inside week, really not doing anything. So you want to be careful on that. That's probably not going to give us the big indication until it breaks out of that. You got the small cappers going to new highs of ever. IWM going to the highs, putting to rest that it was all about the dollar. Nope, going to the highs. Merker. On the other side, you've got XLU, the Utes getting pounded here, and the Utes going to the lows. And, in Dow theory, that would state it was a problem. But in general, what we've seen during a lot of the rally periods is the Utes sell off and flight to risk. And so oftentimes they'll go into the strong stocks. And I'll get to that in just a second. This morning I talked about, when we have this lack of volatility, we want to look for two things. We want to look for the morning gaps, and we want to look for the natural buying and selling during the day. And we certainly got that. If you looked at the two names I talked to this morning, GDOT, here, looking for the opening range, and off it goes. Gap and go here, and let's say that you missed it, you didn't get in here, you couldn't find a way in here, and a lot of people just sit there and stare at it, walking up all day. But if you look at here, an inside 15 here, so when it takes out the hammer there, plenty of nice entry there, and walks up the rest of the day. There's another 15er here. Plenty of ways to get in on this. Nice gap and go, and that's what we're looking for. DRI, on the other hand, a gap and reverse, and it was perfect. Remember, I talked about the reversal strat month here, but anytime something gaps, we want to gauge whether that's a gap and go, gap and sit, and gap and reverse. Opening range peak, sideways, inside 15. There's your short, comes in and fills the gap. And so if you didn't get either of those, don't blame me, fool. Watch the morning call. All right. So outside of that, I talked about IBB having relative strength as far as the sectors. Just a doji there on the day, and what that helps us to do, just like a doji in the S&P, is to go look at the stocks individually and look where the buying and selling is occurring. So you had GILD. Not more new highs. You had SRPT still ripping here on the highs. Alexion been strong here, going towards those highs. ALKS goes inside day, and so potential another measured move. Up, sideways, inside day, measured move, inside day. We'll see if we can get out of that. It's also above an inside month. If you go to VRTX, also going towards the highs of this move as it breaks an inside month. The inside month is 131.42, so just a little bit above that. We'll keep a look at that. Conversely, we can look for a weakness. What is selling off on that strong tape? And today, Clovis backing off. You see this nice red bar. And if you look at the 15 here, you got this down, sideways, measured move, probably an inside 30 on that. What do you know? Inside 30, down, sideways, measured move. So that's some of the stuff you can look for in the discernible strength and weakness. ALNY got hit during the day here too, and this was nice because our VTF was playing it this way. Inside down off the 15er was also an inside 5, and down here with the triggers the 15, inside 5 and down short. And the Dave Green Room also had some fibs going where they bought it on this spike and sold it back up into here. So here's the T3 catching moves on both sides. When we look at, go to tech, Facebook, still putting on a clinic. Facebook, and this is what I call the reversal strat once again. Inside month, breaks down, opens and closes back within that inside bar. And so when it took out 81, 84, became a reversal strat month, and don't tell me you couldn't find a way in today, because right out the chute, inside 15 right here. There was a bunch of 5s and another inside 15 here to get you in, another inside 15 here for more adding. So looking for strength there. Adobe here still ripping out of this stuff on the daily, so just looking for anything that's long green bar to find a way to hop in there. Netflix trying to go to new all-time highs, close, but right now, when people say it's up too much, it's just, well, this inside week last week would need to be an exhaustion if it's going down. That's not what happened. It goes inside week and up above 674.92. So we're still looking at that. We got Amazon here, and been in this range for a long time, but it rebroke the inside month above 439, and so the inside bar break itself is important, but the rebreak, we're looking for combinations, and so to do that 439 this morning again, to rebreak it, here's 439, inside 30 right out the chute. The inside 30 triggers the rebreak of the month at 439. If you missed the whole thing, you had another inside 30 measured move up into there. We also had the Tesla flexing some strength, going towards the highs here. Recent highs, you can see just still walking up though. So discernible natural buying and selling is what I'm talking about. And so conversely, on the downside, as far as tech was concerned, if you look at Western Digital goes inside month and down, and that puts that on my short list to go short. And you can see here, nice inside 30 here. See ya. And we know that Western Digi trades with STX. Still all sorts of trouble there as well. Inside 30, never stops out. Inside 30 down. If you look at the daily, you're going to see this here. Like that. Inside day, puker, triggers the week. And that's how you can follow the strength and weaknesses. If we go to the financials, FAS still skirting recent highs here. Hit recent highs up in there. And if you look at the KRE regional banks, more highs for the KRE. So slow going, but certainly the strength is there. Goldman Sachs certainly still powering higher. And if you look at Interactive Brokers, there's a chart for you. This thing's really been going. And look at that monthly. And that's why when you get mid-month, we look at the monthly bars to see who's bright red and who's bright green, to see where we might want to be. And you can see as Interactive Brokers continues higher there. If we go to AMBA going inside day, and so here, if you're lucky enough to buy it down in here, you got a nice gap and sit here. So gap now inside day, and it's going to be tough. Even if it breaks the inside day, then it's got to break this bar that causes it to go inside to discernibly show any type of move. So one of the strategies I discussed during the day was, I know some people were trying to buy it yesterday and held, and some bought it today, or were just thinking that this is the buying opportunity, the corrective move, and it can start moving back up on its merry way again. And if that's true, or if you are willing to buy it a lot lower, that one of the strategies you can use here is you can look to enter around a strike and then look at upper strikes and lower strikes, sell the calls and sell the puts. But because of this, there's so much juice in these options that basically you're either going to get called away a lot higher, you're going to catch the premium on both sides, or you're going to buy this thing a lot lower on another lot. So if you're willing to do that, it's one thing to keep an eye on there. Another thing we're looking at is crude oil USO proxy, and had a nice movement today, but in general, you got to pull that back out. Still inside week for crude oil, and so that hopefully will resolve eventually, and at that time we can start to look at how the stocks themselves act. There's XLE, and XLE still walking down this, but the question is, can even a move to break out some of this stuff would be a nice move. So keeping an eye on that crude oil going forward. And I could look at a few more setups. That the point is, in a slow, dull market, we want to see if there's any news overnight, any earnings that are important, any upgrades, downgrades that are moving the stocks. Look at the gaps in the morning, and then assess whether this market's just going to be as lethargic, and then we're just going to have to go natural buyers and sellers. And if you think they're not scared, VXX, new more all-time lows, and you look at the SVXY, and oftentimes I ask people, I'm like, why trade anything else? These things just do their job. So that's going to do it for today. I'll be back in the morning with the Morning Call Express to take a look at the gappers and some potential setups in the morning. Hope everybody had a good trading day and has a great night. I'll see you in the morning. I'm Rob Smith of the Black VTF here at T3 Live.